Batman just turned into a snowman?
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
But only if they... No crying. Oh, I have ways of knowing. My world.
Even circumstances.
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new Christmas film review. And this Christmas film review is going to be for a 1998 live-action film featuring a snowman starring Michael Keaton. Somewhat of a Frosty look-alike, but he's not called Frosty in this. No, not that. This film is going to be for a film that is hated by a lot of people, and bombed when it came out, and it's somehow considered a Christmas film. Anyway, that film is going to be for 1998's Jack Frost. Yeah, the one where Michael Keaton turns into a snowman. Anyway, how did this begin? Well, Jack Frost's snowman costume was created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. George Clooney was originally set to star as Jack Frost, and Jim Henson's Creature Shop made the character look like Clooney before Clooney left the project. Sam Raimi was even going to be attached to direct the film when Clooney dropped, but when Clooney dropped out, he dropped out as well. They even also considered John Thornton for the lead role, and even Billy Bob Thornton were in all talks to play the role of Mac MacArthur. But those didn't happen. And then, of course, after all that stuff, the principal photography or filming began on March 1998, and were all wrapped on June 23rd, 1998. Kind of a weird time to film something Christmassy. So after the movie was shot and, I guess, marketed, the film would then go on to be released into theaters on December 11th, 1998, and upon release, it received mixed to negative reviews and became a box office bomb, grossing just $34 million against a budget of $40 to $85 million. As for my reaction, I don't find this movie nearly as bad as almost many people made it out to be. Now, Jack Frost is neither a bad movie or a good movie. It's fine for the family, and it certainly starts off well with a very promising 20 minutes. I also like the premise of the film about a musician who dies in a car accident and comes back to life in the form of a snowman who looks like Frosty the Snowman, to spend time with this neglected son. The soundtrack is great, and the film is nice to look at. The performances are decent from Joseph Cross and Kelly Preston and Michael Keaton. Probably the best performance in this film. While he has been better in other stuff, he does well here too. However, I'm not sure what this movie was trying to accomplish. What I mean by that is that it seemed as though it was striving to be a poignant father and son type film in a film full of slapstick comedy. Unfortunately, due to the weak script, the film doesn't really succeed at either. And the harmless fantasy was unfairly maligned by the majority of critics upon its release, some of who gave it no or 1 star in their rating. Like, there's nothing original here in terms of these or themes or ideas, and it borrows from plenty of other. And while there may be a scene or two early on that are somewhat interesting and or entertaining, once Jack turns Frosty, well, the film really starts to kind of go downhill. Scene after scene of forced sentimentality and moving moments. I'm not against touching films, guys. I like some of those, quite a few of those actually. But what makes the family is on TV, film I consider to be excellent. I'm just against these phony attempts of providing touching moments. Like, nothing seems genuine or heartfelt in this film. It's said to be played as it, but it just doesn't work. Humor tries way too hard to be clever and falls flat on its face. And the gags and jokes are kind of terribly overplayed. Like, if you guys Hold on. Where is it? You know what I kind of... Anyway, you know what I kind of think this movie is kind of somewhat too similar to in concept-wise? I think it is a little too similar to this movie. Yeah, in concepts. Because the concept of this is the same too. Some dude dies. The loved one he has doesn't want to move on. He comes back, has to make amends with that loved one, almost kind of similar, and succeeds doing so in the end, and then moves on to the afterlife. It's kind of how this ends here. Like, how this goes is Patrick Swayze plays a husband who has his wife he loves, played by Demi Moore. One day, Patrick Swayze gets shot by a robber that's after some codes to this corrupt account with stolen money. And he first believes he isn't dead. He still thinks he's living, but he then starts to realize he is dead. So he ends up going to this psychiatrist that's played by Whoopi Goldberg. And he also learns of this kind of plot involving the danger of his own wife. And, well, I mean, okay, that's the plot of that film, but it's mostly just similar to this movie in concept-wise. But I feel like in concept-wise, Ghost did this better. You could kind of call this a family-friendly version of Ghost set in Christmas. Like, what the film is really about, this one, is this boy misses his dad, who got into a car accident 1 year prior to this point, and they got that part right. The boy's name is Charlie, he built a snowman out of snow, and that obviously comes to life the same night, and scares the shit out of Charlie. Well, yeah, the snowman looks creepy as balls. But they soon become good friends and dodge school punks, like involving a snow hill chase in one scene between Jack and Charlie on a toboggan, and the punks on snowboards. Where the filmmakers try to make this into one of those exciting car chases in action movies, the punks throw snowballs instead of bullets. The scene's just kind of so stupid I laughed out loud, and not because of the funniest, because of the pure stupidity this whole scene has. Along with kind of avoiding his mother and friends and melting temperatures. The snowman itself is really a piece of work. I mean, the snowman itself is kind of badly designed. Like, he basically just looks like Frosty the Snowman in the uncanny motion capture animation. If Frosty the Snowman had an adaptation done by Robert Zemeckis with the Polar Express animation, it would probably look like that. So yeah, that is one of my biggest criticisms I often hear against the movie is the snowman looks very creepy. Even Roger Ebert criticized the design with its anorexic looking twigs for arms. It's on the eyes of the beholder, I'm guessing that. Well, even the design of snowman is alright, because it's done by Jim Henson Creature Shop. And it does also look like an average snowman a kid would make every year if it ever snowed. It was originally going to be designed for George Clooney, and I can literally see Clooney's face within it. The casting changed to Michael Keaton because Clooney dropped out of the project, caused major problems for the film's SFX team too. But the CGI doesn't look half that bad. It probably wouldn't look as good on HD though. And that's the kind of thing Jack Frost, this version, belongs to. That breed of film. Which was everywhere in the 90s. Where some dad can't make time for his kids, like with, Liar Liar. That cliche. Drawn out as that cliche was in the 90s, it kind of just raised a question. Would any 90s person ever want to have children after watching family movies like this? If you're going to dedicate yourself to a lifelong career adventure? And then Jack Frost does go a step further with his examination of faithfulness with the character of Rory, as someone in the movie states, he never saw his old man and resents it. Any coincidence, his character is just kind of a delinquent, and the father-son relationship with Jack Frost does decently try to tug at people's heartstrings, and the ending is kind of nice. And it's a really daft concept, and it shouldn't work, but Keaton actually does make his performance shine here, in a way, huh? because there is it does work too, because there's a lot of chemistry in the family before the unfortunate event. And you can really show that Jack is sad for his son, so when he comes back, it makes it easier to watch. And obviously, there's an element of predictability to it. So the bad kid becomes nice at the end. The family not believing his son, and there's always one character in the film who sees a Tyler character and goes a bit mad, which is kind of for the quality, good for the comedies. I mean. As for the good qualities of the film, yeah, it's a bit stupid and silly way for having Michael Keaton being reincarnated as a snowman, and he should have been reincarnated as a human instead, but I still love the scenes that his son and himself spent together. And John Travolta's wife, late wife now, Kelly Preston, for the last song, plays his wife who has kind of had it with Jack and his band because he never spends the time with them. That's kind of the thing about her character, she doesn't really contribute much to the story all that much. In order to think people bash this movie is that it has a sappy screenplay. Like, haven't there been many other sad movies before? This is even new people. Even this does the sadder tone better than Jack Frost did. Lots of other movies do. And how often does someone get a second chance to make up his or her life mistakes? Because it's not like this movie ends badly. Jack Frost rights his wrongs. It's not like he shows up just to make the audience cry. Sure, so the name is cliche and all, because technically he shouldn't really be called Jack Frost. Like, they could have just called him Jack because Jack Frost is an actual myth legend, but he wasn't a snowman. He was just some dude that looked with pale, cold skin and often made everything freeze. Even Michael Keaton's character himself mocks the name. Like, when he's in his snowman form, he says himself, why me? Why snowman? I mean, could the universe really be that unoriginal? That made me laugh. Like, the main character recognizes that the name of the movie and concept of the movie is just silly, and it shouldn't be then it should be a little bit better than some people make this movie out to be. It's still not great by any means, but I don't think it's really hateable. However, this movie does, and also, why is this, some people think this is a Christmas film? This movie doesn't really focus on anything Christmas related. So I have no idea why this is even considered a Christmas film. Like, once again, this just kind of feels like the concept of a family-friendly version of Ghost, which I found better than this. In the end, Jack Frost, I guess, is a one watch on streaming if you feel interested in checking out just to see Batman turn into a snowman, or just stream this one. Anyway, that's it for my review of Jack Frost. If you're wondering how I'm going to rank Jack Frost, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you're a Michael Keaton fan and want to see him in a Christmas film, just stream this or go watch Batman Returns once again, since that's a better Christmas movie than this movie. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Jack Frost, I'm going to give Jack Frost a 5.5 out of 10. There we go. That wraps up my review for Jack Frost. So you're wondering, what's the next Christmas movie I'm going to be reviewing? Well, the next Christmas movie is going to be, for one, starring the Muppets. And it was in the 90s, and it was one of the very final things Jim Henson did before he died. Yeah, and it's another one of those Christmas Carol adaptations. Yeah, you can guess it. The Muppets' adaptation of A Christmas Carol is going to be next. And this will be my third review of any Christmas Carol adaptation ever since when I started YouTube. I reviewed the Jim Carrey one, and then this year I reviewed the 80s modern version, Scrooged, and now I'll be reviewing the Muppet version, the other favorite of mine. So anyway, guys, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.